She saw the pain on Daniel's face and the resolve in Jennifer's eyes. And as Daniel's anger began to boil over, his voice rising, his words turning cruel, Linda stepped out. Her voice trembled. "Daniel, stop." Her presence snapped him out of his rage. He turned, eyes wide, torn between guilt and relief. Jennifer didn't wait. She walked away, determined to end this once and for all. Linda tried to calm her husband, but deep down, she knew something had broken. That night, Daniel returned home, unraveling. His mind spiraled, rage, heartbreak, humiliation. He stopped going to work, isolated himself, spent days obsessing over Jennifer. Linda tried to reach him, but he was slipping. Meanwhile, Jennifer stayed focused, rebuilding her routine, keeping her distance. She hadn't told Mark everything, afraid of the fallout. She just wanted to be free. But Daniel couldn't let go. One evening, she returned home and found him waiting, eyes bloodshot, voice trembling. "Please, just listen. One last time." Jennifer refused. When she tried to walk past him, Daniel grabbed her arm. Tight, painfully tight. She struggled, screamed. A neighbor heard and came outside. Startled, Daniel fled. Terrified, Jennifer called Linda. She didn't want to go to the police. Not yet. Maybe Linda could still stop him. They met the next day. Jennifer looked exhausted, defeated. Linda listened, nodded, promised to talk to Daniel. But when she returned home, Daniel was already unraveling further. Their conversation turned into a screaming match. He accused her of betrayal. And that night, something shifted inside him. He decided,
"If I can't have her, no one will."
On a cold, quiet night, Daniel broke into the Johnsons' house. Mark was out of town. Jennifer was sleeping. No. He crept in through a side window, a kitchen knife in hand. Her peaceful face enraged him. In a moment of madness, driven by twisted love and rage, he stood over her. She woke, saw him, tried to scream. But it was too late. Daniel silenced her cries with the blade. And after the murder, Daniel fled, hands soaked in blood. He returned home, incoherent, shaking. Linda saw him. She knew. And in that moment, driven by fear, denial, and blind loyalty, she chose to protect him. She stripped him down, washed off the blood, scrubbed the floor, bagged the clothes. Then she sat him down, forced him to recount every detail. As Daniel's voice trembled, she listened. Not as a wife, but as an accomplice. As the walls closed in on them, Linda knew they had to act fast. They needed an alibi, one that could withstand scrutiny. She called a trusted friend and calmly claimed Daniel had been with her the entire evening. It was a simple lie, but a crucial one. With the alibi secured, Linda drove to a secluded area outside of town. There, under the cover of night, she burned Daniel's blood-stained clothes and the murder weapon, silently praying that the fire would erase any trace of the crime. The police canvassed the neighborhood, questioning everyone, including the Garners. But Linda's carefully constructed alibi held firm. Daniel, though visibly distressed, managed to avoid suspicion. With no concrete leads pointing in their direction, the investigation stalled. But while they had successfully eluded the authorities, the psychological toll of the murder was profound. Daniel became increasingly paranoid, haunted by the idea that the police were closing in. He withdrew from his friends and co-workers, isolating himself in a spiral of fear and regret. Linda, though outwardly composed, was under immense strain. She became hypervigilant, watching everyone, analyzing every conversation for signs of suspicion. The weeks after Jennifer's murder were filled with tension and deception. Linda assumed the role of the stabilizer, managing Daniel's anxiety while maintaining their public facade. She watched the news obsessively, looking for any mention of new evidence. There was relief in the silence, but she knew an alibi wasn't enough. They needed a narrative. She told Daniel he should act more grief-stricken to match the community's mourning. At public gatherings and memorials, Daniel played the grieving friend, his voice trembling, eyes welling with tears as he spoke of Jennifer. Mark, broken by grief and desperate for answers, seemed moved by Daniel's apparent sorrow, never suspecting his friend's hidden role. But Daniel's guilt was a ticking time bomb. He began having nightmares, hallucinations, drinking heavily in a desperate attempt to quiet his mind. Linda, fearing he might slip up, stayed up most nights, watching him, guarding their secret.